Hey, what's up, everybody? And welcome to Studio de Jeffrey de Quarantine, where I would like to announce that golf is an awful sport. Yesterday it was an amazing sport. Shot 90 for the first time. Today I shot 102. Yesterday I was great with the driver. Today I couldn't hit it to save my life. Golf's terrible again, but it was great for one day. All right, a lot of Cowboy stuff to get to. One, we have really good Cowboy news as it pertains to the NFL draft. That is always something that is important. You know me, I love my drafting, and I love my draft news, especially when it's good for the Cowboys. And, of course, we have the Eagles being jerks, trying to steal another coach from the Cowboys that's not named Kellen Moore. And then we got to kick around the old Dan Orlovsky idea that, of course, I disagree with because Dan Orlovsky and I are mortal enemies when it comes to social media. We have had many knockdown, drag-out fights. Let me get out of the way so I can pop this Orlovsky up for you. This is Dan Orlovsky talking about Deshaun Watson, which is a really fun topic that Deshaun Watson wants out of Houston, and he hates it there, and blah, 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 blah. It's a really fun topic, but he says there's 6 teams that shouldn't be calling Houston about Deshaun Watson. Kansas City because of Mahomes, Seattle because of Russ Wilson, Tampa Bay because of Tom Brady, Buffalo, Josh Allen, Chargers, Justin Herbert, and Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers, and then ideally for them, Jordan Love, who I've heard nothing about, which is probably a bad thing. So the natural question that people are asking me is, should the Cowboys be on this list? And my answer to you is yes. And here's why I think that. It's really interesting because there's 2 things that are at war here. I believe if you're an NFL team and you can upgrade at quarterback, that you do it. The end. Like Miami, if you're not sure that you have a kick-ass NFL quarterback and you have an opportunity to get one, then you do it. Like Miami has Tua. And he had a pretty good rookie year by rookie standards, but in a year where we got to watch Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert as well, he looks like, is this is he a stud? Eyeball test wasn't great. So if I were Miami and there was a prospect that I liked as much or better than Tua, I'd pick him. Because why wouldn't you? It's quarterback. It's more important than everything else combined, damn near. I say damn near because Deshaun Watson just went 4-12, and he had a really good year. So I do believe in upgrading quarterback at almost any cost. The problem here is, would you rather have Dak or Deshaun Watson? And I think my answer is Deshaun Watson by a little bit, by a little tiny bit. And so I'm actually going to break my own rule because if you want a guy that's as good as Deshaun Watson, well, Dak and him, I think, are very similar in terms of where do they place in the quarterback hierarchy in the NFL. I think they're very close, and Dak gets better every year. So I'm good with my quarterback. And with Dak, do you know how you get that quarterback? You sign the check, and you're done with it. To get Deshaun Watson, you're talking about a guy who already has that giant check, and you're talking about having to figure out how am I going to acquire him because Deshaun Watson's going to cost a lot for a team. And the wild card here is, I guess you could say, well, why wouldn't you just, tag Dak, trade him to Houston? They could give him the big contract. And then whatever makes that balance out, which is, I would imagine, the Cowboys throwing in a draft pick. And Dak wouldn't agree to that. At least in my mind. Do you want to go to the team that just went 4-12, even though they had good quarterback play? That's lost in terms of the roster? That doesn't have the draft picks to make the roster better? Like, for Houston, what they got to do is they got to move Deshaun Watson to somebody, if they end up trading him. You got to go to somebody like Miami or the Jets, to somebody that's going to just give you a butt ton of draft picks because that's what you need. But in order to get them, you're giving away a franchise quarterback, which is stupid. So just fire the dudes that Watson doesn't like and move on with your day. But anyway, if I'm the Cowboys, I'm not interested in Deshaun Watson. I'm not calling about Deshaun Watson because I already have Deshaun Watson or something very close. All I have to do is cut the check. So just cut the check, okay? Now, the good draft news. Let me get it pulled up so I don't screw this up. My guy at overthecap.com. At overthecap.com every year they come out with the draft's compensatory picks. What is a compensatory pick? Well, if you lose free agents off of your football team and they make a bunch of money wherever they sign, you get rewarded for that with a draft pick. Like, oh, sorry, you lost your guy. That's tough for you. Here, have a draft pick. So the calculations for it are a little tricky, but they do a really good job of it at overthecap.com of projecting where they're going to be, and that is out today. So they are projecting that at the end of the third round, the Dallas Cowboys will have an extra draft pick for Byron Jones, getting a bunch of money in Miami. They're projecting that at the end of the fourth round, the first compensatory pick in the fourth round will go to the Cowboys because Robert Quinn got a bunch of money in Chicago. In the fifth round, the Cowboys will have a compensatory draft pick for Randall Cobb going to Houston. And in the sixth round, Jeff Heath got you a comp pick. At least that's what they're projecting. He is the very last player that is projected to be worth a compensatory pick, and only 34 of them get given out, so he is projected to be the 34th one. So it's very possible that the Cowboys are going to have an extra 3, extra 4, extra 5, extra 6, and I believe they're missing a 6 from a prior trade. But if you're adding 4 picks to there's 7 rounds, I believe they had 6 plus 4, you should have 10 draft picks, including 2 3s, 2 4s, 2 5s. So you can do some damage with that. Try to find you some guys. You got some extra darts to throw at the board, and that is nice. All right, the other thing that we need to know is the Eagles are being jerks. The Eagles want to interview Kellen Moore, and I haven't seen if that's happened yet, but I'm sure if you're him, you're not turning down a head coaching interview because they're desperate. Can anyone save Carson Wentz? He's a train wreck. Can anyone save him? If they think that a young offensive coordinator and a former quarterback, if they think that he can save Carson Wentz, then they should be interested in Kellen Moore. My guess is he doesn't get that job, and I hope he doesn't because Kellen Moore's really good at his job that he has now, and I want him to stay in it. They also want to interview Bones Fossil, your special teams coach. Now, I guess they'd have to just give him an extra title? They'd have to do something because I don't think you can do a lateral move, special teams to special team, unless his contract's up. But yeah, that's the Eagles. They're just being real jerks right now. They're trying to steal all your coordinators, and you might want Fossil gone, some of you, with all the fake punt shenanigans, but your special teams this year were actually pretty good. Cowboys had a pretty good special teams unit. They just had a coordinator that liked to call weird plays at weird times sometimes. He's a little wild, a little too aggressive. So that's your news of the day. Let me get to your mailbag real quick. Got a few questions. Remember, youtube.com/Jeff Kavanaugh, and you can leave in the comments what you want to talk about tomorrow, and I'll try to get you hooked up. You can also, of course, see these videos on 1053thefan.com, and you can hear me 2 to 7 on 1053 The Fan, the home of the Cowboys. You can hear me there. Okay. Kenny Savage. Jeff, keep doing the awesome videos. We appreciate you. Thank you. Sucking up to me will absolutely get your comment read at a higher rate. Serious question for your next video. How would you feel about the idea of double dipping at safety at any rounds? One being Ardarius Washington and whoever else. Would you consider developing Ardarius as a slot corner for Dallas? All right, let me start with this. Ardarius Washington is my top safety in the 2021 draft class, and I mean, I'm ready. I'm ready to get killed for it. I'm cool with it. But my motto has always been trust the tape. And Ardarius Washington is a TCU safety. Most people have Trevon Merrick, his teammate, as the top safety in the draft. I'm going to tell you this. On tape over the last 2 years, Ardarius Washington is the more physical player. He's the better instinctual player. He has better range. He's like... Ardarius Washington is the absolute hands-down best safety in this draft class. He's 5'8". He's 5'8", and he's under 180 pounds. So what do you do with that? Last year, Antoine Winfield was 5'10", and because of that, he was not the first safety taken. He should have been because he was the best player. 5'8's small. I get it. The only thing I will not hear is the argument about how small people get hurt because that's made up. It's fraudulent. Football Outsiders once did a study on that over a 20-year period, and the heavier you are at each position group, you're a little more likely to get hurt. So it's basically random, but the idea that light people or small people get hurt, it's made up. So don't worry about that. But when you are 5'8", it means your tackle radius is smaller. It's harder to bring down giant guys, but he's fearless, he's physical, he's tough, he's smart, he's instinctual, he can cover. Teams don't throw at him. They'll throw at Merrick. They don't throw at Washington. And when he lines up in the slot, you can't get open on him. So that's my guy. He's going to be my guy in this draft, and I'm going to get killed for it. I think that a 5'8 safety should be one of the first 32 players picked because I think he's that good at football. Trust the tape. Go easy on me in the comments. Sorry. So, yes, I would love to pick him. I'd love the Cowboys to pick him in the second. With how the NFL is, maybe you could pick him in the fourth, and you could pick another safety because teams are going to be terrified. He would be I would imagine 5'8", 178 would be the smallest starting safety in the history of the league. So you'd be a crazy person like me if you went for it, but I'd go for it. Noah Thompson, while this would never happen, would you swap Dak straight up for Watson, assuming you tag Dak? Obviously can't trade him if he isn't under contract. If Dak agreed to it and said, tag me, trade me, they're going to pay me, and I'll go to Houston. That's such a hard question. Because if you say, who do you think is the better NFL quarterback? I would say Deshaun Watson by this much. By that much. But boy, if Dak went 4-12, what would y'all say about Dak? I think they're both really, really good, and the guy that I would keep is whichever one I have. I have Watson that much higher, but I've seen Dak here. I know Dak here. I know how he works in this offense. I know how he works with Kellen Moore. I might regret this, but I will say no, I would not trade Dak straight up for Deshaun Watson. While saying that I think Deshaun Watson's that much better, which is a really weird answer. Derek, go cold turkey on the nicotine, in my opinion. It's a struggle for about a week. Then it gets easier than dragging it out with patches. I quit about 6 months ago. You got this. Mind over matter. I do have my patch on. I'm on day 9 of no tobacco, but I do have a nicotine patch on. I do chew gum. I do eat way too many sugar-free Jolly Ranchers, and that's what I got going on. So thank you. If anybody else wants to be an accountability buddy and try to quit something that's terrible, give it a shot. I'm with you. We got this. And Chris Davis said, your DT, your defensive tackle, has to have a strong power bottom? Jeff, I know you didn't just say that. Sure did. What, is there another meaning for that? He's got to have got a power in the bottom. Strong power bottom. I don't know what you're talking about. All right. I appreciate you guys checking in. Please hit the like button. Make sure you're subscribed. Turn on the notifications. Trying to get to the 23% club, people who have clicked on the bell. Check 1053thefan.com every day. And if you listen on 1053 The Fan, 2 to 7, Monday through Friday, you can listen on the radio.com app if you're not in the DFW area. We sure do appreciate it. I love you, and I'll catch you on the radio. Oh, and you don't know what anybody's going through, so be cool to everybody. Love you, bye.